Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, featuring Cara Delane and Ted Ings. This episode is brought to you by BG Products, partners beyond products. And now for your hosts, Ted Ings and Cara Delane.
Welcome to After Dark, everyone, at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, and we have quite the crew tonight, Ted.
Cara, I see just to your right, the infamous Owen Moon. Owen, look at you tonight. You're looking really 80s.
This outfit was tricky to put together, I'll tell you that. How you guys doing? Hey, Cara.
I love it.
Good to see you, Owen. So tonight, everybody, we have Owen Moon's Fixed Ops Digital Marketing Panel with the great April Simmons is with us tonight. Aaron Sparks is here for a return performance. And for those of you who have not met him yet, but you will, Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy, do you always look like that?
Yeah, every once in a while, this is how I go into work. Just got back from the jungle and all sorts of stuff.
There you go.
All right. I've been following all your posts on social media. Great job with this event. You're on a lot of panels. We got a solo Q&A. Cindy Reynolds, good evening to you. And Cara, I guess the comments are coming in, so we're going to be live tonight.
We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so hopefully everyone's sharing the video tonight and commenting down below, because I think tonight's going to be pretty interesting.
All right, so we've been playing trivia. We were doing music trivia. We've been doing 80s trivia. Good evening, Brendan O'Brien. Cara, what kind of a game do we have for tonight?
So if you watched us on Monday, we're going to have the same game we had on Monday, and it's called Guess Who. So different people that are regulars on the Fixed Ops Roundtable or After Dark, they have sent in pictures from the 80s, and we're going to show those tonight and see if we can guess who they are.
I love it. All right, so that's coming up. Stay tuned, everybody. And Cara, can the audience guess as well who the pictures are?
Absolutely. I think we're going to need some help on some of these, so hopefully everybody watching tonight will comment down below their guesses to help us out.
All right, Tony Owens, stay with us in the chat. Good evening. It is a great day. We're going to need your help on some of these coming up shortly. In the meantime, the reason we're dressed up with all the 80s stuff, Cara, and I love the hair, by the way. I saw that most recent TikTok that you posted, I guess, about an hour ago, is we have a big event coming up now in about just over 4 weeks.
Yep, about a month away. It's on May 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. We're taking it back to the 80s with the Fixed Ops Roundtable. It's going to be a 4-day virtual event. So if you haven't already got your complimentary tickets, grab them now at fixedopsroundtable.com. And hopefully you'll dress up along with us in your 80s attire.
Great. We'll talk about that tonight. We got a lot of Fixed Ops information coming as well. Also want to thank tonight our exclusive sponsor, Sean Kingery. Our exclusive sponsor is BG Products, partners beyond products. And very grateful to them. And a lot of news coming up here shortly with BG. We're going to be taking the Fixed Ops Roundtable on the road, Cara, and I'm looking forward to that. We have a stop. Our first stop is going to be right before the big May event.
It is on May 11th. We're going to be at Bozard Ford Lincoln for our first pop-up event, and I'm super excited to get out there and start seeing people in person and starting this new pop-up event show.
All right, we're going to broadcast those live, everybody, so stay tuned for details on that. Owen Moon, you got a great panel coming up at the Roundtable. I agree with what Sean Kingery is saying in the chat. Owen, what's coming up? What do you got going?
Well, we did this, I think we've done this maybe once or twice with a lot of the same faces that are here tonight, our online service marketing panel. And, Fixed Ops is definitely becoming a lot more focus at the dealership, and it's been like that now for a couple of years with the pandemic and then the inventory shortage. I think what it did was it opened up a lot of people's eyes to the possibilities for fixed operations. I think what it also opened up, though, and I'd love to get some of these guys feedback from it, is maybe some of the vulnerabilities that we've seen at the dealership, from process to training. Obviously, marketing, we need to evolve our marketing to more of that online focus. But, marketing's always kind of been the last thing. You don't want to put more, fuel on a fire per se. So it's always starting at training, and then, obviously process and even technology. So, I think that's what we're really going to focus on with our panel.
Great. Stephen Ryder, good evening from Chicago. We see you as well. All right, so take us through it, Owen. You got a big panel coming up. April, Jeremy, Erin are all on it. Give us a little taste, a little teaser of what's coming up.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're going to focus on is sort of those different profit centers. So yeah, I mean, obviously with service is kind of the big part thing, but then parts, tires, accessories. So feel free to jump in, anybody here, and kind of give me your thoughts on some of those other profit centers. Do you see your stores really focusing on it, or is it something that you sort of still need to get your arms wrapped around?
Well, I would say that we're hyper focused on it, and some stores more than others, right? Because to your point, you've got to have the people and the process in play before you just start putting stuff willy nilly all over the place. But one of the things that I've really been saying to people is, for a long time, we've been talking about our website being our digital showroom. We need to also look at our website as our digital service lane. And that's the spot where we've really, really missed. And if you look at the traffic that goes to your website, the majority of it, the number one thing that people click on a website is schedule service. Yet we don't communicate to our customers all the offerings that we have, such as tires, such as accessories, those sort of things on our website. It's kind of like, would you only put new cars on your website, not put your used cars? Of course you wouldn't. You want all of your offerings on your website, and we need to do a better job of communicating that.
April, I thought you had a great comment too as well. You mentioned earlier today when we met that a lot of times what we put on the website is just things like oil changes and a rotate, and nothing beyond that. And
no, nothing.
Talk about that a little bit, because that's so important.
Right. The specials page that I look at on so many of them is like an offering for an oil change and maybe a tire rotation. And then that's it. That's where it stops. And I'm like, no wonder customers don't know we sell tires. We don't talk about it at all. We don't put our offerings out there. No wonder they don't know about alignments or any of the other things that we might offer. And even some of those accessories and parts, like most cars now, you can add Apple CarPlay. Why are you not putting that on your website and making sure that customers know that they can add that while they're in getting their oil change done?
Wow, I like it.
Aaron,
Cindy Reynolds, you're right. Some of the best 80s looks are coming up tonight. I'm sorry, Owen.
Oh, no worries. I was just going to, Aaron, obviously another marketing director, obviously at your multiple store group. What are you seeing, from your end as far as not only maybe from a marketing standpoint, but from, inside the service department itself? Are they coming to you saying, hey, we want to focus on more of these areas? What can we do? That type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, just this week, we had a conversation with one of our stores saying that we need to work on that heavy line a little more, but that's harder to get, right? Like it's not like somebody just walks off the street suddenly and you're filled with heavy line work that's going to just fill up the ATEC bay, And so we really have to look at that whole process on how are you fostering a customer from A all the way to Z to understand, be there for the small things so that when that heavy line work needs to be done, that you're the first place that they're going to as well too. And it starts, we talk about it all the time, but it's the customer experience in the showroom, in the service lane, making sure that you're bringing awareness to your capabilities along the way. And then also just fostering that along the way and talking about it more than just when they need it, but when they're learning about more than what you do right now. Like April said, like, do you know that you can get CarPlay while you're getting your oil changed? And do you know that we have some of the best technicians that are diagnosing Toyota work right now in the entire state? So you want to be trusted so that when there's something bad going on, you need to come back here.
Good point. I like it.
Yeah, and you're right, Aaron. It's not just in this. You said something that kind of caught me, as far as technicians and kind of the why service message, right? It's not just about a $10 off oil change. It's about why are the dealers the choice, right? Why are they the authority? Why should the customer care if they're bringing their car to the dealership as opposed to a Jiffy Lube or one of the independents that are obviously trying to poach some of their customers being in the area. So
we talked about that with tires, even like earlier today. Like you do everything and anything with all of the other services, and then tires suddenly has to leave your shop to go somewhere else? Why?
Hey,
Have
Owen,
the conversation early and often.
Absolutely.
just
Yes.
a moment ago in the chat before Sean Hopper, good evening. I don't know if you saw that David Reinecke is in the chat tonight. Oh,
Okay.
and I don't know if you know him. He's with the Automotive Warranty Network. He's out of Colorado, probably
Okay.
not far from your office in Colorado as well. And David's got a big segment coming up on the show. First timer on the roundtable, Owen. There was a time
Awesome.
when you were the first timer as well.
Yeah, but I flew to Beverly Hills. That was a
And I
That
made
was
sure
fun.
you got your segment in before you had to take that early flight out too. So I remember
yeah,
that.
that was an interesting week for sure. I was in Colorado doing some 20 group stuff and then came out. So Jeremy, let's kind of transition a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the culture and some of that training that we were kind of mentioning. You know, where does marketing maybe fit into that? What are you seeing from sort of in the trenches, obviously starting as a technician and then moving, obviously throughout your career, becoming a fixed ops director. How important is marketing to you? How does that maybe fit into your process? Things like that.
Yes, it's very important because, when I first got into management, service and parts, you almost had to beg for a landing page just to be on the little quick tab, in the early stages. And a lot of times we get so busy, we just forget about that website and the specials and stuff like that. In a meeting earlier, April said, we had the oil changes in your tire rotation and that was it. But, we're so competitive with tires and stuff like that. And that's the work that we need is that quick, easy work. Because it seems like we have plenty of heavy work. It's just that quick, easy that we can fill the gaps in our schedule. And, a meeting earlier this week, April kind of virtually stepped on my feet on a topic because we were talking about appointments and we're always loaded. But she made the point, it's like, what about the customers that can't even click on their appointment time? And she said, we should add a little live chat button. And, I know you don't do this in meetings, but I got on my phone and started texting my IT people. I was like, hey, I need this button, so if they can't find their appointment, they can click this button and go to a live chat with my BDC. So there's a lot of potential on the internet advertising.
Kara, Jeremy's got the accent. He's got the hair going tonight. He's almost like a real rocker, right?
I know. What I really want to know is, does your tongue hit right about here?
I'm just waiting for a song to bust out. I don't know.
Let me add one more thing. How about this to the website, Owen? A lot of times, who's going to work on my car? Who are the technicians at your store? And a lot of times there are technician bios or even video bios. This week, Kara Delane sat down and interviewed 2 female technicians for the Fixed Ops Roundtable coming up in May. Kara, talk to us a little bit about that because they were both very interesting people, but very, very different. But I thought there was a great dynamic in that those interviews you did.
Yeah, I think, Ted, a lot of times, as a consumer, we just take our car to the service drive, we leave it there, and we don't think twice. And so for me, getting inside of the shop I was in and talking to 2 female technicians and hearing their side of the story and kind of how they got into automotive was really interesting. And I got a bunch of different viewpoints from these ladies that I've never heard about before, as far as the culture in their shop, if they want to start a family, how they can transition around the dealership. It was really interesting to me to kind of get to know who these people are, because a lot of times they're just in the back and kind of left behind the scenes. And, they're the most important people in a dealership. We need to focus and highlight those people back there because they are what keep the lights on.
And one of the best relationships, don't you think? I mean, I think we do that again with sales, but we forget about it when it comes to service. And back in the 80s, when I went to the shop with my dad in our broken down car, you drove it around back and you went instantly and talked to the tech, right? You said, hey, I don't know what's going on here, but let's get this thing fixed and figured out. And I just think we need to have that same communication nowadays to bring the tech and the customer together so that there's that trust bond on who's actually working on my car. I love that.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Kind of tying into all that, Jeremy, you talked a little bit about the button and being able to chat and all that stuff, but I think it goes a little deeper to this, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. But, you've got a customer, a lot of times when they're coming into the service lane, they're doing it on their day off, or they've taken a vacation day maybe to run some errands and obviously do this as well. So you're kind of infringing on that day that they are not supposed to be thinking about work and maybe enjoying their life. I think there's a lot that we need to do, and I think we're still very early in it, but how do you bring it all together where if a customer is coming in to get an oil change or some maintenance, some routine maintenance done, look at what they turned down the last time, because a lot of times you have recommended maintenance that they're turning down. Bring that back together, maybe check for a recall, and let's try to package it all up and give that customer that dynamite experience where they come in one time, they get everything done. Now, if you need to keep their car for a couple of days, give them something to either a loaner or get them to where they need to be, but make sure that they know that they don't have to come back 2, 3, 4 times over a 3-week period. And then all of a sudden you're getting a low CSI, you're getting a bad review on Google, all of that. And so I think that's been the toughest thing that I've seen dealerships is trying to evolve how they're communicating with those customers. I remember when we first started doing this as a company, I signed a group out of the Detroit area, and the guy goes, "My gosh, my websites have never looked so good. Now, if I can just get my team to know that they have an 8:00 appointment tomorrow, we're going to be in really good shape." I mean, that should have hit home right there for me, but I think that's where we're at. So from a communication standpoint, is there anything you guys are seeing or even looking at, or is there some technology out there that you guys are seeing that kind of help bring all that together because that's not necessarily a marketing thing, but it kind of ties together with marketing.
Yeah, it definitely does. And if you use your CRM or your DMS where you can add notes where you're training all your people to look at those notes, because in the service world, what happens, why are y'all laughing? It seems like every time I talk, everybody starts to laugh. But, a lot of times in service, our staff becomes used to bad news. So when somebody's car breaks down, it's a normal day, so nobody freaks out. So talking that big picture about how inconvenienced it is when a customer car does break down, and they don't need to come back. It's easy for us to say, well, just schedule a time when we're not busy. But it's like Owen said, it's my day off. I need to do it now. And just that big picture of thinking that there's a customer behind that vehicle, and it's just not the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Kara, Jeremy's going to love the September event we have coming up next.
I know. I can't wait.
We haven't given away what the theme is yet, but it's going to be a lot of fun, Jeremy. You're going to like it. But Jeremy, you're exactly right. I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. Jeremy, your dealership group, Heister Automotive, you're in North Carolina. Tell us about that and a little bit about your background there as well.
So we are a Heister Automotive Group. We got 4 dealerships, 2 Chevrolets, 2 Chrysler. We have a AC Delco DA. So we have a wholesale parts distribution, and we have a off-site reconditioning center. I started in the mid-90s as a technician and kind of worked my way up through the dealership. And I've been with this dealership group for 20 years now.
Wow. Okay. Came up through. And Aaron, you're over at Denoyer. Tell us a little bit about that group and your background there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. I am the marketing director for Denoyer Automotive Family, and we have 5 different rooftops at Jaguar, Toyota, Chevrolet, Ford, and as of last week, we added another Chevrolet store. So we're excited about that. And I personally have been in automotive on this side of the table for the last 5 years, and then for 5 and a change more before that, I was on the other side of the table in digital marketing. So I feel like I have a good mix of the two.
And where is Denoyer located? Because I have a couple connections on LinkedIn with that last name as well.
Yeah. So actually the funny part, Owen can appreciate the SEO aspect of this, is that one of our flagship stores is the Denoyer Chevrolet store in Kalamazoo, Michigan. But we are one of now 4 Denoyer Chevrolets, and only 2 of them are owned by the same company. So.
Oh, wow. How about that?
It's like Apple. It's like Apple Auto. There's a lot of Apple Autos.
Yeah. Yes, it's a very interesting juxtaposition when you're trying to market it. So
100%.
I love it.
So Aaron, one thing that we didn't get a chance to talk about, I'd love to get your feedback is, and I know Drew Benson, who's also on our panel, wasn't able to make it tonight. He's kind of our technology expert, since that's what he does for Cavalli. But kiosks. Tell me about kiosks. Are they going to replace everybody and we're all going to be out of jobs, or what are your thoughts on kiosk? It's kind of a sensitive subject, I think, around these roundtable audience, I think. So
yeah,
John Frazier's not here tonight, so
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we have had one implemented since January of last year at our Chevrolet store. And I can tell you it has not replaced a service advisor, but it has enhanced the customer experience and the ability of our service advisors tenfold. I think that with true adoption of it, that it can be a true asset for anybody. I kind of reference this a lot, but my sister and I could not be more polar opposites. I am the one that is going to be in your face, going to say hi to you, want to talk to you for 20 minutes about all of the things besides the topic that I was there for. And that is just not her. She's going to be the one that uses the service kiosk, the 24/7 service kiosk, because she doesn't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to have to talk to you. I don't want to have to drop my keys off and you have to ask me about my day and have to, go through all that rigmarole. She doesn't want that. And I don't blame her. And there's a lot of people that you want to fit the people at how they want to do business. And I think that that's a really, really great opportunity. On top of the fact that, I get notifications every time someone drops off or picks up their vehicle, and they're doing it at 11 o'clock at night, at 2 a.m, at 7 o'clock, when we just closed an hour before, but it's convenient for them. And at the end of the day, if you're not putting the focus on what is convenient for your customers first, I think you're really missing the boat.
100%. And I got to thank Erin for that one. That was a tidbit I took from her and wrote down because I have one of my stores having an issue with scheduling, and it kind of rolled into that need to communicate with the customer, because not everybody can show up for a 1 o'clock or a 2 o'clock or a 3 o'clock appointment. They're at work. And so they need to be able to get their vehicle to the dealership maybe at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. And that's the time that works for them. But that's also the appointments that get completely filled up. Yeah. But they drop it off at a kiosk at 7 a.m. and schedule a virtual appointment to go over the details at 1 p.m. at lunch, because the customer, maybe they work 40 minutes away. So coming in at lunch doesn't work, but we could do, a virtual, hey, let me go over your MPI in a virtual sense later on in the day, but they're able to get their vehicle to the store and from the store at a time that's convenient to them.
And that's something that we paired together. Actually, we started those two products almost exactly at the same time. They're not actually partner products, but we did them at the same time. Was our 24/7 service kiosk and our video services. So every time our technician does a vehicle, they do a walkthrough of what they've seen, what they've either corrected or they think needs to be corrected, and then that customer gets it as a text and as an email whenever they look at it is convenient for them. And then they can even text back and forth with their service advisor to make sure that they do or don't do things that they want. And then they can pick it up at their convenience.
Yep. I love
it. Kyle Cloud is in the chat. Kyle, service director extraordinaire. I agree. We always will need advisors. Erin, so is your kiosk, is it outside the building or where's it located?
So there is a service lane, a service drive. The garage doors are there, and it's just outside the service garage doors. But it is inside a room. It's a glass room right outside the doors.
Okay, so it's away from the elements and that kind of thing.
Yep. So there's signs on parking spots that say 24/7 service kiosk. They park them there. They go to the kiosk. They fill out their information. They drop their keys in a little drop box, and they're off. And it literally takes less than 3 minutes.
Wow. We're starting to see, and the kiosks making a comeback, right? They were kind of dormant there for a little while. Kara, I saw you had an experience with one recently as well.
I did. Yeah, I got to go play with the GoMoto kiosk, and it was honestly really impressive. And I kind of had a vision in my head of what I thought the experience was going to be, and it was way better than I imagined. And it's definitely something that I know I would use if I rolled up to a dealership, because it's going to save me time.
Oh,
I
go
so
ahead.
I just want to really make this point as well too. This is by no means a slight on any other dealership that doesn't have one, but what is the solution for a customer that can't pick up their vehicle during business hours?
Mhm.
Don't tell me there isn't one dealership that hasn't done it before where they've left those keys underneath the steering wheel, underneath the mat, under, somewhere there's the secret hiding spot.
Yeah.
And it just happened not even a month ago where that happened in our town where the car was stolen because of that. So that in and of itself has made it very valuable.
All right.
Well, now what I was going to say is taking the kiosk out of it, just using technology and thing. A lot of times you get pushback at the beginning because someone's trying to use new technology with an old process.
Mhm.
And then you kind of sit back and you realize, oh, wait a minute, this technology needs to be used differently. And so maybe that's where the kiosk, hate has come over the years, or the challenges is, are we using it the right way? It sounds like, Aaron, you guys have kind of figured out how to use a kiosk to benefit you, not necessarily to replace anything. And I think that's going to be a lot of different technology as we continue to move forward here.
Well, because I think, Owen, maybe kiosk gets a bad rap because people think that's like self-checkout. Kiosks are not like going to Walmart and doing self-checkout. You're not doing everything on your own. It's literally just, giving the customer an opportunity to drop off and pick up at their own leisure and get the process started with them not having to stand there and hold their keys and wait. Right?
And that really, it's also like a really tight conversation with the service advisor. So the service advisor has to initiate that to happen. Like it's not just like I walk up there having never talked to the service advisor and can somehow miraculously get my keys. Like they tell you how to do it. They give you directions. Then email is sent to you. A text message is sent to you. There's full directions. It's really smooth.
And Justin from Dynatron is in the chat. Agree with you on some dealers still are not using texts. Owen, I think it's that time of the show where we're going to guess who is in the picture from the 80s. And
let's do it.
If everybody's ready for that, Jeremy, we're going to find out, April, who's here tonight. And Aaron, we'll see what we got.
So I think we have 7 different photos that were submitted tonight, and hopefully we get all these correct. So if you're watching us live, don't forget to comment down below your guesses on who is in each of these photos, because I wouldn't have got all of them.
Okay. But these are all Fixed Ops Roundtable characters, people with a roundtable.
Yep. Here is the first one. I don't think I would have got this one.
I got to say, I was on Monday nights, and I think these 80 pictures are just far enough back that a lot of people's change a little bit more than if it was like 10 years ago, because all these are hard. I don't know.
Owen Moon. This has got to be Owen.
No. I can't grow that much facial hair. Come on.
Well,
let's see. Does anybody in the comments know?
give us a hint, Karen.
Nobody's getting it correct. Let's see.
Ed Roberts.
Not
Ed with hair. No.
No.
All
I
right.
will tell you, this guy gives nicknames to just about everyone.
Oh, Tony Owens?
Including you?
Yep, it's Tony. Tony Owens.
Tony Owens. Look at that.
One
From the
point.
80s. Tony from Jermaine. Very good.
All right.
Tony looking good. All right. Who's this?
This one made me laugh.
It's like Owen. It's Nick Nolte, right?
John Elway. No. Oh, man. Who is that? Ted Ings. No, that's Ted.
Ted
Could
Ings.
be.
No, not Ted Ings. No. Good guess, though, Stephen, right?
I think this guy
Is that
very
Sean?
nice.
Sean Kingery?
Sean Kingery.
Nope.
No. Oh.
Not
Next
Sean.
to Chevrolet. I don't know.
All right. So let's see. He's a race car driver here in the 80s. And he's very passionate about one thing that we all talk about in service. Extremely passionate. Les Silver, close, Robert. No, but not less.
And you would need a lot of these if you were racing cars.
But he's ridden shotgun to Les Silver, Robert. Okay, I can tell you that. You need a lot of these. Yeah. In fact, most vehicles have 4 of them, and he is the expert on those.
Oh, Ed Boyles.
Dave Boyle.
Yep.
Once you know who it is, you can't unsee it.
That's true.
It's Dave Boyle from the 80s. Look at that. Race car driver. Good looking. Yeah. I like
All
that.
right. Here is a beautiful lady from the 80s.
Oh man.
Dave, well, who is it?
Who's somebody that's always watching the After Dark show? Always commenting. She's been on here pretty often. She's been a guest
She
on the
has.
show.
One of Kara's favorites, actually. Maybe the favorite.
Robert got it right.
Robert Rowden. Yep.
Yeah.
Cindy Reynolds.
Cindy Reynolds.
Yep. Very good. Very nice, Cindy. Looking good.
Now, who is this Pac-Man fan?
Pac-Man.
I love this.
Jeremy.
Yep.
It is.
That's awesome.
It's Jeremy.
It's Jeremy
You're the one that
Stevens.
actually looks the most like you, though. That's
He
the
still
funny
has all that good hair
He
He
too.
does look good.
thing. You actually look very similar now.
All right. Let's see.
Ooh.
This one was tough.
Kara, I told you I always wanted a guitar.
I know.
I was gonna say it's you, but I don't think so.
Not
it's
Ted.
not me. Not me. But somebody, Steve Ryder, you may know who this is, and David Reinecke, you may know who this is as well, because you're both in the same part of the fixed ops business as he is. Owen, he's one of the legends in our industry. He was on that Legends panel last fall
Mm-hmm.
with Dave Boyle and Les Silver, and he's not Les Silver, though he could be, right?
Is it Ron Overs? No.
Nope. Not
John
Ron.
Fairchild. Look at that way. We could think with a guitar, right, John? No. Or
John with hair, huh?
No. No.
Oh man, I'm trying to think who is this. I have no idea. John Blank.
Want to give it away, Ted?
Yeah, he's got a big company now growing in the warranty business using AI to file warranty reimbursement for dealers. It's Jim Roche.
Oh, Jim, yes.
Yeah, author of many books, X Time, Kelly Blue Book, helped bring all those brands to market. So, yep,
And
Jim Roche.
apparently a rock star, too.
Apparently.
And who is this little guy?
Oh.
He don't have his wristbands on this time.
You guys like that blanket, don't you?
You used to have that blanket, don't you?
Different
He
colors.
must have that. Yeah.
I have it. I have it now.
Was that your blankie?
It was my favorite.
So cute.
That's
Owen Moon.
Owen. All right, we have one more. Let's see if anybody can guess who the last one is. He is also a regular on After Dark.
Okay.
That looks like Sean.
Sean
Sean Kingery?
Butler.
Sean Butler? No.
No, the other Sean.
Kingery.
Yes.
You're right. It is Sean.
There you go.
I love it. So
That's
many
great.
good photos.
So
That's
fun.
awesome.
That was great. Tully, right? Yeah, we're waiting for Tully's picture, Robert. You and I both. I know. I tried to get one today. Everybody, thanks for playing along. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so the 80s is coming up in May. Kara, that's going to be how many days that event? It's what, 2 days, 3 days?
You wish, Ted, but it's 4 full days packed full of 80s fun on May 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. And if you haven't already got your complimentary tickets, you can grab them after the show at fixedopsroundtable.com.
Yeah, a lot to see at this event, everybody. It's crammed. This 4 days is absolutely packed. So there's a lot of super interesting stuff, a lot of surprises coming, and you're going to enjoy it. So join us in May. Be sure to sign up now for the complimentary tickets. So Owen, Aaron, Jeremy, April, great job tonight. Tony Owens, you too. And of course,
Thanks,
Kara.
Ted. Appreciate you having us on. Obviously, great show. 2 nights a week. I love it.
Yep, going strong and more to come.
Thank you, everyone, for being on with us tonight and dressing up alongside me. We hope that you all have got your tickets to the Fixed Ops Roundtables Back to the 80s event. And until then, we will see everyone on Monday at 8 p.m.